Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can. And I continue with Tyranny, Blind.
I've got it.
Now I've entered the old walls in Lithian's Crossing. Or at least, I guess I'm approaching the old walls. Like, it's a little unclear. Old walls antechamber. Okay, so maybe I haven't entered yet. These floor stones have been broken recently. Bits of metal nearby would suggest it's the result of careless soldiers. The sunken relief, though heavily damaged, is clearly meant to depict a runic symbol similar to the one you saw at Ascension Hall. The relief is incomplete, and thus the final form of a rune is unknown. Make a charcoal rubbing of the relief's shape to help discern the rune's design. Pressing charcoal to parchment, you capture a blurry but proportionate image of the ancient relief. With enough collected imprints, it might be possible to reconstruct the original shape of the rune. As you work, Lantry hovers near. See how the pattern looks broken along the two edges? I think there's more to the engraving than what's here. And then we'll look for more. Agreed. If we collect enough sketches and imprints, we could no doubt reconstruct the original image in its entirety. There is an eerie glow of unknown origin coming from the depths of this pit.
See that? Can't do that.
Okay, this goes further.
Sorry, I can't.
So what does the main door do then? This door creates a near-perfect seal with the surrounding walls. Along its surface, you see several chips and shallow gouges from failed attempts to force it open. There is nothing to interact with on its panels, and you surmise that it was never meant to be opened from this side.
Can't do that.
Okay, so I have to go through here.
Can you feel it? There's power here. We should explore.
The chamber immediately reminds you of Ascension Hall. An intricate rune running around the floor can mean only one thing. You stand at the feet of a great spire. Each step you take echoes across a great distance. As you gaze upward, the sage-colored walls quickly gave way to unending blackness. The rune in the center is inactive, and the silence of the hall offers no clues as to its use or function. You feel a slight tug in your chest, a faint echo of the energy that enveloped you in Vengeance Well. Hold a moment. Lantry bellows the comment louder than needed, smiling as if he hears his voice echo throughout the massive chamber. If my sense of direction is at all reasonable, we are standing below the spire in this region. What do you recommend? Lantry points at the pattern on the floor. I'd start with the grooves and stones on the floor over there. If it's like the spire at Vengeance Well, whomever built it created a mystical conduit to the top, and I think it very, very unlikely that the pattern is purely decorative. What do you know of the spires? Raises an eyebrow. About as much as you, I'm afraid. Until our time at Vengeance Well, I didn't realize there was a way to access the upper reaches. Speaking of which, I'm certain there's a way to the top of this spire as well, Let's keep our eyes out for sigils or glyphs nearby.
Study carefully the glyphs. They're gibberish to me, but I know magic when I see it.
The grooves in the floor are inlaid with a dim incandescent material that glimmers upon closer inspection. They appear to intersect at various angles, forming myriads of potential shapes similar to the rubbing you found. Okay, so I have to complete it to know what kind of symbol I need to create, maybe? This sunken relief, though heavily damaged, is clearly meant to depict a runic symbol similar to the one you found at Ascension Hall. The relief is incomplete, and thus the final form of a rune is unknown. Pressing charcoal to parchment to capture a blurry but proportionate image of the relief. Though the drawn rune remains incomplete, it seems likely that the completed design is symmetrical in nature. Should the need arise, you could reasonably guess its original shape. I believe this has something to do with the symbol on the floor of the spire. Okay, so this is like a confirmation button, I guess. But is it recorded anywhere? Because this is kind of small. Like, it has those arches, but I can't really discern what's going on in the middle there. So, if I were to look at my journal... Examining the rubbing further could help you determine its importance. Do I have it? Is there a quest tab? There is. Okay, so it's like a series of triangles, I guess? Well, I guess this is not a triangle, this is a rhombus in the middle, but... But this won't work like this, because it would have to go like this, and it can't, because there's not a thing in this intersection. Like, if I go like this, it's a wrong... Okay, this is utter gibberish. And it forms curved lines anyway, because it doesn't go directly from here to here. It goes based on the lines. So, wait. Maybe... Okay, I can't cancel it. I guess this would cancel it? Indeed. I have a very faint idea of what I'm doing. What? Like, it doesn't seem to even conform to the sort of, to the sort of angles that the drawing does. I'll go back, and maybe there's something more that I missed. But it says here, you appear to have uncovered enough of the symbol to see the completed image. Which is this? What is this gibberish? Like, how... this has very acute angles, and this is sort of half circular, so I don't really know what I'm doing here.
I got it.
Unless it's flipped, but that wouldn't help me anyway, because you're still ending up with those acute triangles at the corners. They would just be positioned, upward a little bit differently. Okay, this is kind of promising, I guess. As far as a triangle-like shape is concerned. Maybe it is flipped. Like, it would fit more if it was flipped on the side, with the triangles here, 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 and here, and then like the rhombus-like thing in the middle. Unless it's all just concentrated within this, because look, there's a like a faint circle, and it would kind of correspond to this. Like there's a circle here, and then it would have a triangle here, triangle here, triangle here, triangle here, and a rhombus in the middle here. So maybe I should just fiddle with this. That's the wrong direction.
Yes.
Okay, it worked out. Sure, let's go. The arcane light courses skyward, trailing off toward the horizon in the direction of Vengeance Well. You feel the ground ripped from underneath beneath you yet again as you drift back into the warmth of the energy surrounding you. Your awareness stretches beyond the limits of this spire, pulling in many directions at once. The light you saw arcing through the sky reminds you of the tether you felt at the top of the Vengeance Well. This too is a potent, is a point of connection, and you feel an inextricable part of it, bound as surely as the spires are to each other. The Sunset Spire in Letian's Crossing feels burdened by its age, as if a central linchpin somewhere in its core has weathered the centuries of oppressive weight and longs to topple. The surge of energy that courses through you, forming a link with the Vengeance Well, strengthens the very stones beneath your feet. The structural weaknesses and defects you detected vanish, replaced by confidence that could keep this tower standing for millennia. See that, due south is Ardent, where I was born, and there over to the right of that is where the Academy of the Tides used to stand. Oh, and you can see that little island off of Barris in Chains, that's where the Hag River would take me to practice out more dangerous spells. My childhood is seen from above. This is surreal. And tell me where you're writing from. Lantry speaks aloud as he pens a missive, and how to reach you, and I will send you an iron ring for your troubles. He signs his name with a flourish, and then tosses the parchment into the wind. In a blink of an eye, the heavy currents carry the slip of parchment eastward. I had this idea of a message in a bottle without a bottle. Maybe it'll work. Who knew this was all up here while I sat below, wasting my time trying to gather a group of followers from the refugees in Lethian's Crossing? The untapped power in this spire is astounding. I must find out how to get some. The spire feels like a relay between you and Vengeance Well, bringing some transference energy on an enormous scale. You're the first link of a chain that stretches the length of the realm. As you struggle to try to understand this sensation, you grow aware of the whispers all around you. Listen closer. The whispers themselves seem to travel down the tether between you and your spires, conducting heat that feels at times to be unbearable. They speak of your actions, your choices, everything that led you to this place. Your name is known, your banner recognized, your deeds reported across the tiers and the Northern Empire alike. For an instant, you can see the accumulated hope and fear these whispers represent. It appears like dewdrops setting on a leaf, then trickling into a shared basin. The image is fed to you through your connection, a base metaphor that only hints at the true scope. There is power in those spires, though its source is unfamiliar. Were you to harness it, you suspect that nothing would stand beyond your reach. Unlocking this spire seems to have opened some deeper connection. On the moments my staff and I are separated, part of its magic goes dormant until I am near it again. That same dynamic is happening with you and the Spires. They've adopted you, I guess. They certainly like you enough not to kick you out of bed. Curious, I'm noting something I also observed at the Spire in Vengeance Well. There's a mystic hum. It has little beats when you walk, tiny fluctuations when you talk. Unless my senses are deceiving me, you and the Spires are mystically attuned to each other. Most fascinating indeed. A quill pen appears in his hand, and the old sage begins furiously jotting notes on his arm. I felt it too. The air is thick up here, isn't it? Exactly the opposite of what you'd expect. The magic up here is almost a physical presence. You've acquired Sunset Spire. Okay, so apparently there's 5 of them in here. I can upgrade stuff such as library, training grounds, forge. They're all pretty cheap, so I think I might actually do that all, unless it's exclusive. Constructing a library on a spire allows you to research magical knowledge, edicts and artifacts. Once built, resting in any spire grants you a bonus to lore and all magic skills. Sure, I'll build that. Oh, they have maintenance cost. I guess I can't build anything else. But the library was a good choice, you know, I am a mage. Okay. Let me read this. Okay, and I can also hire some people for this. So I guess I will. Like, I have quite a lot of money. I wonder if I'll have to pay them as well, periodically. Let's hire this trainer for lore, control frost. Okay, I don't think it ups the maintenance cost. A merchant with a collection of rare magical scrolls. A master trainer who teaches control gravelight and control illusions. So that's for Ebb? Sure, I guess I can hire him as well. A scribe and lore seeker who regularly provides scrolls to further research. Edicts. I guess I can hire some people for this as well. A battlefield scavenger with many unique items for sale. Unique items seems cool. Okay, I'm kind of running out of money, so maybe I should stop with it for now. I've received a missive from Tunon. My dear Stanis Javert, the court is abuzz with the news of the civil war. Representatives from the chorus and the disfavored are having little shouting matches in front of Tunon. The petitioners to the court seem swept up in talks of who will crush whom, and if and when Tunon will bring down the gavel and stop the fighting. What has me more intrigued is the other story out of Vengeance Well. Tunon sends you on what I thought to be a one-way trip to the well, and not only do you live, you somehow claimed the mountain spire, and you broke Kairos' edict too. Such things make a little civil war seem trivial in comparison, at least to those who can separate the message from the noise. Tell me, what was it like to break the edict, and how is it you took control of the spire? To be honest, I probably shouldn't be that forthright with Kairos anymore, because I've betrayed him. So, respond with questions of your own. Let's obfuscate. Dear Rhogalus, did you know what the wording of the edict would entail? Did you advocate that I'd be sent on what was likely to be a one-way journey? Your questions seem to imply that my actions at Vengeance Well were orchestrated when they were in fact a product of me responding to a chaotic situation, nothing more. Dealing with two petulant, disagreeable archons occupied with what precious time I might have spent undermining Kairos. And how about you tell me what you know first? You were the one who taught me the value of never being tricked into self-incrimination, and how could I possibly argue with that sort of wisdom? Okay, sure, it's obfuscating enough, I would say. Let's send it.
Sorry, I can't.
Greetings, Fatebinder. The sage bows low before you, quills in his hood brushing to the ground. Who are you, and how did you get into my spire? Well, didn't I hire him? He takes a cautious step back. Garrus, I'm your scribe and researcher. I've heard great things about you, about this place. The library here is incredible, if you don't mind me saying so. He quails back with uncertainty and fear. When I heard about the library that you were building, I just had to come. I watched the workers as they hold the stone and scrolls up here. That was an awful lot and they were very tired, and I did what little I could to assist. Then on the last day, as everyone was leaving, I just stayed behind. Why are you here? I take it you'll need someone to organize the collection of scrolls, someone to catalog new texts as you discover them, and someone to organize research efforts. As your scribe, I can do all three. In fact, I am excited to get started. I already started looking through your collection then. He cuts himself off and sighs. To be honest, I need work. The Vellum Citadel isn't exactly up to its old standards, and I'm afraid there aren't many safe places where a sage can find employ during the war. What research can you do for me? Oh, a number of topics. Magic, alchemy, the history of the world. You have an impressive collection. Not as large as the Vellum Citadel perhaps, but no sense in crying over burnt parchment. I've started compiling a list of possible research topics. Allow me to show you. Okay, I don't have enough scrolls. Recipe for new items. No, don't do anything for now. What's the status of your research? We're not currently researching anything. I've just been sorting, organizing, trying to stay out from underfoot.
On it.
A small settlement resides over the bank of a large river. At your service, Fatebinder.
Sorry, I can't. See that?
Okay, there are more scrolls here that I can use for research. And I will. I am interested in artifacts, specifically. Even from this height, the Portusco River is vast and extensive. Conduct research to find plans and schematics for new artifacts.
Can't do that.
Okay, let's get down. So, what's my actual objective? Travel to Tunon's court, petition Tunon on Barrick's behalf. Okay, I don't think I have anything else to do, so I might get on to that, although, again, it seems to me it's awfully risky to even show up at the court after what I've done. But seemingly, I have to do it, so I will.
Sorry, I can't.
How do I switch companions? Do I have to return to the Spire to do that? I think so, actually. I can't go to the top? How do I return there? From where I am? Like, do I have to physically go inside and then... Because I've been thinking, and it's perhaps not the wisest thing to be bringing Ebb, who's a known Oathbreaker, to Tunon's court. I'm confused on how this works. Like, why can't I go back up there sort of instantly?
Right.
You can from here. It's a bit confusing. But I will leave Ebb and take Barrick. Because obviously Barrick has business with Tunon anyway. The sage examines a scroll, taking in every detail of his handiwork. Did you know there were 7 ways to write fire, but only 2 for water? He continues to examine the scroll without the slightest sign that he might be expecting an answer. Could it be that fire has more meaning in our era? There is a short pause before he realizes you've actually approached him. Oh, my apologies, Fatebinder. I can be taken for a ride by my own trailers of thought. I'm sure there is something you need from me? You seem fairly versed in the common language. Did you study at the Vellum Citadel? He scowls and contorts his face into a tight knot. Yes, that's what it used to be called, before Kairos' edict fell upon us all, taking thousands of years of knowledge and reducing it to ash. My apologies, the wound is still fresh for many of us. Please, let me be of service. What have you made? I don't have anything for you at the moment. Recruits can generate items for you, while you're gaining experience by adventuring in the world. A mage peruses the library with an amused expression. It takes a while for her to notice you. Fatebinder, I was wondering when I would meet my patron. Philia of the Forgebound, before you ask me what Smith is doing so far away from the forge, I am taking a break from the ironwork, and this library suits my tastes at present. What's the plan now that you're here? I need some time away from the war effort, assembling the same swords and helmet, using our intellects and art to equip an army. The Forgebounds are masters of our crafts, but we are artists at heart, and this war has misused our talents. I want to spend time among these books, recalling what got me interested in the arcane in the first place. Teaching you should fulfill a similar goal, though I won't know for certain until I get started. Where shall we begin? Let's talk magic. Yeah, it's actually pretty cheap, so I might...
Who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
I've got scrolls, vellum, parchment. It's really more interesting once you start reading. Care to take a look? Shock damage, Staff of Boreal Frost. Okay, those are pretty expensive. I don't have that much money for now, so I'll leave it be. Grants additional spell slots. I still don't know what that even... Like, I wasn't under the impression they are just on cooldown. I wasn't under the impression this game even uses spell slots. But sure, let's do that. Surely it has to have some use. Significantly increases the health restored by second breath and protects revived characters from damage for a short time. Sure, pretty cool.
Right.
Okay, let's take Barrick with me.
You look as if you have something on your mind. By all means. What can I do for you? If you would have me travel at your side, then I am not opposed to seeing more of this degenerate realm. Onward.
I'll tack homeward. See you there.
What? Where is Barrick? What?
A second Spire has awoken to your presence. This is fascinating, and I admit enviable. If it turns out your connection to the Spires invites death and woe, my jealousy might wane a bit. I've been mulling over that structure we found atop Vendrian's well. Would you be opposed to me studying the sculpture in closer detail? I'd perhaps work a spell or two near the structure. Simple cantrips of gravelight by which to read and inspect, but I will not poke or shove the thing in any way physical or mystical.
Well, if you think it wise, suit yourself.
Thank you. Next time we have a good moonlit night, I'd best settle in and see what sort of magic perturbations I can sense from the sculpture. What is it you need? Smartest thing you've said all day. I'm ready whenever you are.
Be seeing you, Fatebinder. Here to serve.
Okay, he's back. Okay, I'm back. Barrick leveled up as well. Gain a chance to attack enemies as they engage you. Pretty cool. It's like an attack of opportunity. Okay, let's go to Tunon, I guess. Because I can't go anywhere else for the time being, so let's just go to the Bastard City. When the Bastard City fell to Kairos' armies, Tunon the Adjudicator, the Archon of Justice, claimed the palace for his own. Now Tunon's court serves as a center of law and governance for the Tiers. Received a missive from Fatebinder Rhogalus. Dear Stannis Javert, your tone seems so cold, distant and distrustful. It's almost like you've been paying attention all of those years. Yes, I knew I learned about the word... yes, I knew. I learned about the wording of the edict, and while I did not advocate that you be sent, I did not disagree. Like it or not, you are young, fit, and entirely self-sufficient. You should be flattered to be trusted for the honor of the proclamation. I'm asking about your experience because it's not every day that someone breaks an edict, let alone awaken a Spire. If I had some insight into your experience, perhaps it could shed light on what happened, or get you in touch with someone who could. Like, I guess, you know, just claiming the Spire, because, you know, breaking the edict was the intended course of action. It doesn't actually... it's the fact that I did it while on the head of the Vengeance Guard that's the problem. The fact that I've broken it as it is not. But like, does it? I think it gives me a preview of what I'm writing, right? When I try to send an answer. Let's see what he would write if I would explain the experience. Kairos' edict simply said that an agent of the Overlord must claim the Scarlet Course before Kairos' Day of Swords. The only thing I consciously did was to take charge of the battle to claim Ascension Hall. My claiming of the Spire happened just a moment after I left the edict's... I felt the edict's grip release. The floor of Ascension Hall gave way, unearthing a glowing pattern buried beneath the chamber floor. Kairos only knows how long it has been buried under the tile. As far as how I actually claim the Spire, it is perhaps a mutual bond. Atop the Spire is an old structure, a twin-tined edifice. I'll include a sketch of it on the back of the parchment. The structure spoke to me in sensations and images, and it seems to respond to my presence in some limited capacity. That's it. That is what happened, as best as I can describe it. Does any of it sound familiar, or bring to mind any old stories or rumors? What would be the polite refusal? You seem to think I've learned nothing from my time in the court. Whatever I'll tell you will be used against me later. You will have to settle for a written equivalent of a blank stare. Okay, I think I'm going to settle for this, because he's right, you know? That's actually one of the things you're informed about when getting arrested, which I very well might be at this point, is that anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. So the less you say, the better, actually, sometimes. And that's why most people, if you're not a lawyer yourself, you're sometimes the best course of action is just to say nothing. I think I'll go for this. Send it. They won't like it, but, you know, I doubt they will like me overall very much at this point. I've never saw an Archon before Tunon showed up. Are they all like him? I don't understand why the Archon of War hates us so, just because we're born outside of Kairos' rule. The North spent months preparing for the conquest, so why weren't we better prepared? My cousin fought in Stalwart. Have you seen him by chance? The real agony is not knowing. The court has changed. Where mountains of rings once traded hands, now people are put to death. There's no point in questioning Tunon's judgment. He knows Kairos' law better than we ever could. Kairos' standard, an imposing sign for both the conquered and the unconquered alike. The nobles are getting restless. Keeping the peace is a real challenge. Give an order and I'll kick any of those stuck-up highborns down the pit. And any petitioners that displeased Tunon would meet their fate in the pits below the court. This well-dressed older woman stands apart from the milling crowds of nobles. She stares off into the distance, oblivious to your approach, until you're right in front of her. Oh, greetings, she offers a reserved smile. Anda Lucretius, formerly of Thistleholm. You have the look of someone who belongs here. A Fatebinder, no doubt. She nods. Do you need something from me? What is Thistleholm? A great sigh deflates her. It was my family's ancestral hall. The oldest stones dated back to the years when the bastard city was gnawed by but a dozen roofs and wagons, clustering for warmth. Compared to the houses of the great lords, it was nothing special. Age had softened the wood, and its queer placement in the warehouse district set it apart from the finer grounds where lords and ladies strolled from for amusement. It was a mess, but our mess all the same. I would invite you over for tea, something stronger even, but it would only disappoint. You'll find naught there but a gaping hole. Your home was in the warehouse district. You must understand that Thistleholm predated the city districts. My grandmother was also a persistent woman. Merchants storing salted cod and lamprey eggs on the adjoining grounds were no cause for her to budge from her spot. What happened? Collateral damage happened. When the adjudicator cast his judgment on a bastard city, he destroyed the districts of their corrupt merchant kings, their manors, their counting houses, and yes, their warehouses. Age, the dignified Thistleholm, collapsed as a massive sinkhole opened under her foundation. The bastard city's laws may have not been perfect by Kairos' standards, but my family followed them with respect, and never took a copper ring more than we deserve. I can't help but feel that my estate was not the criminal Tunon had in mind during his sentencing. So, what are you going to do next? That's the question, isn't it? I appealed to the adjudicator, thinking that he would see reason. After considering my case for all of 8 seconds, he awarded me a belt of rings and a plot of land on the outskirts of the city. Tunon told me to build anew and start farming. Farming, can you believe that? It's not even that I'm opposed to labor, but we're in war. I can't have the scarlet cows breathing down my neck raiding my crops, and Kairos knows what else. To be honest, the scarlet cows are dogs. I suggest you use those rings for protection. And isn't this the most backwards cycle of ring trading I've ever heard? But it casts a light on something I've been thinking a while. I stand here, watching Tunon go about his business. I came from a line of smart, ring-savvy merchants, but even I can't reconcile Tunon's justice with Kairos' law. There's something wrong about it all. Maybe Tunon knows something I don't, or maybe she trails off, shaking her head in doubt. What do you mean? People come here looking for justice. They usually get a version of it, but it's Tunon's version, not theirs. Half of the time, they don't even get what they wanted out of the ruling in their favor. She shakes her head. The deed to a farm, for instance. Not to put my own ignorance on display, but if more people knew how Kairos' laws worked, they might not come here seeking a ruling at all, even a fair one. Tunon is a servant of the law, but he's the Overlord's vassal as much as any of us. Sometimes it seems like he uses his position to twist everything in the Empire's favor. We're just pieces on the board, and he can move us wherever the law justifies that we stand. That doesn't sound legal. Okay, I can bribe her for her trying to badmouth the law, which, to be honest, I won't, because first of all, that's distasteful, and second of all, and also illegal probably, but second of all, I kind of agree. You know, obviously, this is a dictatorship, and I very much imagine it happens all the time that Kairos and his strongest servants twist the law to suit their own needs, however they might present themselves as being civilized and, you know, in the right. This is not a free land. We all rest on a whim of a demigod who had it in his head one day to conquer the entire world for reasons not exactly specified. I can only endeavor to bring true justice to the Tears. At least one of Kairos' agents has his heart in it. I'm holding out hope that the Tears are left standing after the war, and that Kairos' peace makes something great out of us. A lady can hope, can she? Farewell, Fatebinder. Be well. Well met, Fatebinder. Don't let the war rot you out from the inside.
I got it.
Okay, so there's a delegation from the disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus here. And here's Tunon himself. I will actually approach them next time, because I don't want to pause in the middle, and it shapes to be like a longer conversation, so I'm going to save and end it for now. That's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!